Hello, everyone. Welcome to an emergency podcast of Out of Left Field. We have some breaking news. Jonathan, how do we follow us?
Yeah, so we are on all the social media platforms, X and Facebook, Out of Left Field, Instagram at Out of LF Pod. This episode and all our episodes live on YouTube and Spreaker, depending on which one you want to tune into. And we have a Substack as well.
All right. Yes, as mentioned, we are here for a breaking news edition. Just a reminder, we will have a live deadline recap on Monday to recap everything that is going on. But two significant trades happened on Saturday evening. We'll start with, first of all, Luis Castillo has been traded from the Seattle Mariners to the Chicago White Sox. Castillo is 3-9. He has a 5.06 ERA, 86 strikeouts, 1.39 walks, hitters, innings pitched. In exchange, the Mariners get Seranthony Dominguez with Jonathan. He is a former Blue Jay, was part of the Blue Jays in the playoffs last year. 42 games, 12 saves. The other one is a prospect catcher named Boston Smith. He's ranked as the White Sox number 15 prospect according to MLS Pipeline. Holds a 1.037 OPS in 78 minor league games this year, and as well as an outfielder named Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones has posted an 807 OPS through 90 AAA games in 2026. I guess, Jonathan, from your outside observations, what was your reaction to this trade?
A little bit of a surprise in broad strokes. Most of the narrative, it seems, in recent days had been around Emerson Hancock. And so I guess my brain just got on that track of expecting him to move. And then Luis Castillo goes, and it's kind of like, well, of course he did. Because he's the one, and you follow them every day, and I don't, but it seems like he's the one that had been the primary guy there in years past, but maybe diminishing a little bit and been passed by some of the younger arms. So he makes sense as the trade candidate. So it makes sense. Or it should have made sense. But they were able to get his entire contract out, were they not?
Yes. So according to Adam Jude, the Mariners, the White Sox are taking all of his contract, which includes this year and next year. So, and that is a total of roughly $30 million through the 2027 season, plus the vesting option for 2028. So that opens up some money for the Mariners to do some other things here, which includes a possibility still on the table of an Emerson Hancock. George Kirby's name has also come up today in a trade options, and there's still the other name that we spoke about on Thursday's podcast where we talked about Randy Arozarena as a possibility as well. Still not out of the realm of possibilities. So ultimately, for me, this is not an exciting return for Luis Castillo. I mean, I think the best option out of all of this. I mean, I think you get some minor league depth in guys like Smith and Jones, and Dominguez gives you some bullpen depth, which is always good if you get into a playoff run. But the biggest key in this is getting the contract, the $30 million off the tape books for the Castillo, and allowing you to do some other things. I think ultimately, um, this probably was done. This was probably a little bit of a too little, too late situation, um, because this probably should have been done earlier in the year, and still, uh, when you had six starting pitchers instead of going with this piggyback situation, I think if you could have traded one of Castillo, then you probably would have been in better shape. But I mean, I'm not saying that you would have gotten the same. You would have got more for Castillo. I don't think that there was. I don't think you could get more than what you've got for Castillo at this particular point in time. But um, that's ultimately here and there. I think, unfortunately, the way that the piggyback situation in Seattle has been handled is part of why the Mariners are where they are right now, I think. So, um, yeah, that's the trade from the Seattle Mariners perspective. Is there anything else we need to talk about on that end?
Um, yeah, you said it was not exciting, and I would kind of agree with that, but I think it's still functional and a net positive for the Mariners. I think if they're still trying to win this year, I think it's better that they trade Castillo instead of Hancock or Kirby in in terms of winning the rest of this year. Um, and we talked about the contract, getting the whole contract out. Um, yeah, it's kind of interesting for me, and we may end up focusing on this later this weekend, um, but it might have an impact on a potential Kevin Gosman, and Shane Bieber return later this weekend if those trades happen. Um, Especially Gosman, similar, not the same, but similar veteran pitcher, not quite what he was. Um, so yeah, um, there was a couple of smaller deals yesterday, but I think the Castillo one was the first official notable trade that got trade season underway.
Yeah. Well, and then the news. The other one is the trade. The Los Angeles Dodgers have acquired Tarik Skubal from the Detroit Tigers. They got a outfielder, Zyhir Hope, right-handed pitcher Brady Smith, and a River Ryan. Um, by the way, so baseball, I just wanted to. There's a group called Baseball Trade Values. Take what they say for what it's worth. Just before we go on to the school deal, they said that the Castillo Mile play is a major overpay by the White Sox. Again, we'll see. I think sometimes there's I, I'm sure the model works, but I also think we need to see how this all plays out on all sides. But anyway, Tarik Skubal, we talked about him on Thursday. We talked about him, what would happen if he went to Tampa Bay or Milwaukee. He doesn't end up in Tampa Bay or Milwaukee. He ends up with the Dodgers, as mentioned again, for Zyhir Hope, Brady Smith, and River Ryan. Now, Scubal's the easy conversation here and the low hanging fruit, but I do want to credit Emily Walden, who covers the Detroit Tigers prospects for Baseball America, national prospect, a writer for just BB Media. She did post some information here, so I just will read this for you, if that's okay. Zyhir Hope is an old soul on and off the field. High IQ, still 21 years old. Once told me Max Clark inspires, and there's a lot of mutual respect between them. Hope will hit for power. Had a single season, pardon me, career high, 23 home runs in Double A. Originally drafted by the Cubs and later acquired by LA. Let's see if she wrote anything else here. Um, that's what she wrote about them. Yeah, that's what she wrote about Zyhir Hope. She didn't write about anybody else there. So, um, I guess let's start with Scooble. We knew the Dodgers would be involved. The Dodgers are again involved. Um, are we? Is it over? Have we given? Do we give the Dodgers the World Series?
No, the undermanned Blue Jays almost got them last year. They didn't, but they had 6 or 7 times they could have got them last year, so you can't give it to them now. But when the Dodgers want someone, they get someone. Because we were talking on our last regular pod on Thursday that they have both ends of what you need to be the biggest player. They have all the money they need, and they also develop an outstanding system to to give up prospects for the trades.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about their prospects. They gave up. The Dodgers gave up their number 5 and their number 7 and their number 17 prospects in this deal. Uh, Hope is also MLB's number 25, and River Ryan is MLB's number 68. Um, a little bit surprised at the timing of it, that it came this early. I thought it would take a little bit longer, a little bit closer to Monday, but like we said, when the Dodgers want someone, they go out and get them. So
Yeah, they do. Now, of course, they have, just to touch on the Dodgers here quickly, they're dealing with injuries in their staff, in their pitching staff, of course. Otani is missing starts. Blake Snell just did a rehab. Tyler Glass now is also injured as well. And he threw 2 innings in a live session on Wednesday in Dodger Stadium. So he hasn't had a rehab assignment yet. So it's not like the Dodgers are coming in with this loaded starting pitching staff. They've been kind of, and they did this in the World Series last year as well. They got Yamamoto and they kind of pieced everything else together. So I think that's the school. I think that I want to address the misnomer that the Dodgers are just adding on to a whole bunch of superstars. That pitching staff has gone through a bit of a ringer here. I mean, they have Yamamoto, but that their 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 main their the people we know as their starting staff has been going through injuries here. So I mean obviously this is a great ad for the Dodgers. You match him with a Christopher Sanchez, you match him with uh, a Mazerovsky or whoever else is out there. Chris Sale, you have another power left-handed pitching arm that maybe you didn't going in because I mean, yes, you have Blake Snell, but is Blake Snell what Blake Snell going to be? What Tyler Glass now going to be? What Tyler Glass now has been before as well. So I think this is more of a. This is not. I think that the perception of all of this is going to be, well, the Dodgers are adding to a significant arm here or a significant um, what's the word I'm looking for? A significant pitching staff, but that pitching staff has taken a beating the last couple of years. So I just feel like they're adding to they're adding to their pitching staff, but I don't think that their pitching staff is as good as was as good as everybody thought it was.
I feel
And
like
that bullpen is also a problem for the Dodgers, I think.
I feel like they've been in similar situations last year and this year, with their starting pitching, where they have their fair share of injuries, but they're able to acquire the depth of guys where they don't have to rush their injuries back. They're 10 games up in the NL West right now, so they've won 2 straight rings, so there's no urgency right now. It's all about being right for October.
Yep.
So I'm not deeply versed in their injury situations, but for them, it's with their injury situations, they probably just want to get their top dogs right for October, um, and they certainly have the depth to get there. We talked on Thursday about Eric Lauer, um, and yeah, you're adding a unicorn to the top of the rotation. So, um, yeah, it's fun to be a Dodgers fan right now. Not giving it to them right now, um, but yeah, on paper it's still pretty scary. And like what Blue Jays fans saw last year in the World Series with Yamamoto doing what he did in the World Series, a historic performance. Um, their guys can dial it up to even the next level come playoff time. Um, so yeah, they're a monster that got even scarier tonight.
Yes. And it will be, I guess, just to before we go into what it may mean quickly, we'll touch on Gosman here for a quick second, but just and Bieber for a quick second because you brought him up. But I did want to point this out because as soon as this happened, you knew what social media would do. Well, the Dodgers are ruining baseball again. I'm going to say this again: the LA Dodgers are not ruining baseball. If you want to blame a team that is spending money frivolously and ridiculously, point to the New York Mets who have done it for years with no results. Or you point it to teams like the Cincinnati Reds or the Pittsburgh Pirates who have shown no interest in competing for baseball for years. This is not on the Dodgers. Stop blaming the Dodgers for baseball's problems. It's not their problem. Okay? Start pointing the finger at teams like the Mets, the Pirates, the Reds, and those teams that are continuously not trying to compete year after year, which is frustrating for their fan base. That's a bigger problem. What I do feel, though, is I will say, before we move on to Gosman, I feel bad for the Brewers. I feel bad for the Rays because it would have been great for them, one of those teams, to get Tarik Skubal. I think it would have made it for an exciting playoff for both of those fan bases, a la David Price in 2016 going to the Toronto Blue Jays. Even though it would have been for a year, it would have caused some excitement. So I want to emphasize, I feel bad for those fans, but I just do not. I am not here for the Dodgers are ruining baseball conversation because they're not.
And I don't think it's over
No,
for the Brewers or the Rays. They're still going to keep at it. And this is where the Kevin Gosman and Shane Bieber markets might heat up because if we believe that the Brewers and Rays and potentially others are all in to get somebody, they're going to pivot now. And Kevin Gosman's a good consolation prize. A durable veteran who's pitched in the biggest of games. We talked about him on Thursday. He would be a good pivot, and so I think his market heats up now after the Skubal trade, and you could see someone like a Rays or a Brewers or a Braves coming after him now. And there was a lot of, talk this afternoon around Kevin Gosman's start. It was possibly his last start as a Blue Jay, and it was in Toronto. And there was a lot of narrative around that. And Gosman, at the end of his start, when he walked off, kind of low key acknowledged the crowd, but fact is they started him. They didn't pull him like the Tigers did with Casey Mize, or scratch him like the Tigers did with Mize. So as of this afternoon, the Jays weren't sure what was going to happen with Gosman. So I wonder if now that has changed.
Yeah, I think Sunday is going to be a very interesting day. I think we have to prepare for another emergency pod. But I think we leave it here with both of these trades. The Mariners again trading Luis Castillo to the Chicago White Sox for Seranthony Dominguez, one of the best names to say in baseball, and two prospects, one a catcher named Boston Smith, the other one named Nolan Jones, and then Tarik Skubal traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers for Zyhir Hope, Brady Smith, and River Ryan. So um, how do we follow us again, Jonathan?
Yeah, so socials at Outa LF Pod, Out of Left Field Podcast, X, Facebook, Instagram, episodes on YouTube and Spreaker. We will post the links on our social medias, and we have a Substack as well.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.